On April 13th, 2016, Kobe Bean Black Mamba Bryant became the oldest person to ever drop 60 points in an NBA game at the age of 37 years old. He went 22 for 50 in his very final NBA game, defeating the Utah Jazz, going out with a heavy 60 points, just playing his final game like we all thought he would, just going out shooting the only way Kobe Bryant knew how. And to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of that historic game, Nike is bringing back this colorway. Nike Kobe 11 Protro Mamba out. And the shoe is dropping on April 13th for $220. Just an insane price. I don't know what to say. But regardless, it is dropping on that day. They're also bringing back the Kobe 11 Elite Fade to Black. That was actually the colorway Kobe Bryant was wearing when he played his final NBA game. And the shoe originally first dropped in 2016. You actually had to go through Nike ID, that is now renamed to Nike by You. You had to go and choose this colorway. So it's the first time it's dropping as like a general release, public colorway, and first impressions of the shoe. I really like it. Kobe 11s, just in terms of how it looks, has always been one of the more prettier Kobe's in my opinion. Most of them are very nice, but this is definitely very sleek. You could probably wear this off court if you wanted to bust up your shoes, $220 shoes very quickly. I choose to only wear Kobe's on court still, but I think looks wise, you can definitely pull it off. And in terms of the colorway itself, there's obviously quite a bit going on, but it is not in too many funky bold colors that it is a little too loud, too weird. You can see exactly what they're going for. Black and gold, kind of like those Hollywood Knights jerseys that Kobe Bryant has worn before. Very nice colorway, not as nice as the Fade to Black. Not able to get my hands on that shoe yet, so this shoe came first. I'm reviewing this. I'm glad to finally have these. And if you didn't know, Protro was a term coined by Kobe Bryant himself. He didn't want to just retro his basketball shoes. He wanted to performance retro them, make them better. So Protro was born. And the box of the shoe, pretty regular Kobe box. Now in terms of the materials, this is not the elite version of the Kobe 11. So it is engineered mesh. So in the elite version, you have Flyknit that is reinforced with TPU. This shoe is engineered mesh. However, back then when this shoe first dropped, there were some people that actually preferred the engineered version over the elite version. Now, one good thing about this material is there's just less of a break-in time, like when you first put your feet in, because it is just engineered mesh. It is softer. It is not as stiff or as strong as like Flyknit when you're first trying to break that shoe in. So it feels good pretty much right away. And you'll also see on high movement areas like the toe, as well as near the eyelets, it is reinforced as well to give some extra stability and support. The swoosh itself, it is just printed onto the shoe. Unlike the elite version of the shoe, it is not like embroidered. And in terms of the design, of course, you will see a bunch of dates and numbers that is relevant to Kobe Bryant's career. So you'll see 24, number 8, the day where he dropped 81 points, the date that he played his final NBA game. You'll see his very first NBA game date as well. So really an homage to Kobe Bryant's overall career. And the tongue itself on the top, it is just synthetic. And the logo here that is supposed to represent a sword in its sheath. Kobe Bryant did get his nickname from Kill Bill. So you'll see inside the tongue. Back in the day, if I remember, you could actually choose the message that you wanted on the tongue. It came with like preset options. You couldn't just type whatever you wanted, but you could choose. But this one just says 2026 with that Mamba logo. Now the shoe just comes with these black laces with these hints of gold across, no extra laces. I think these look pretty good. Wouldn't really choose another color to go with this. Now moving around to the booty of the shoe, you will see it is mismatched. So on the left shoe, those 4 lines taking inspiration from Kobe Bryant's Achilles heel injury that is supposed to represent stitches. And on the right shoe, it is the Mamba logo again, that is like its own piece, so it's not a printed look. And you'll see on the lateral side on the toe there, that is the Mamba code, so that actually says my story. And on the medial side, it says realign, reaffirm, reestablish. Now moving on to the cushioning of the shoe, originally the Kobe 11s just came with Lunarlon. This is the Pro version of the shoe, so it replaces the drop-in midsole with React foam, so more durable, more responsive. It also comes with a Zoomer unit on the heel, none on the forefoot. Now one thing, back in the day when this dropped, you could actually go on Nike ID and choose to upgrade the cushioning, so you could get like full-length zoom, I believe, if I remember correctly. You'd pay quite a bit more to get that. This just comes with Zoomer on the heel. Now, in terms of cushioning for on-court purposes, I've never really loved like drop-ins. So the idea is if you get the cushioning as close to your feet as possible, it increases responsiveness. But for me, I've always felt, at least for these React foam type of midsoles, felt a little too soft. Like the step-in comfort is nice, but I just feel like there's a bit of like lag time in the responsiveness of it. So when you push off, you want something slightly firm, not too much, where you get as much explosion and energy back as possible. With these drop-ins, I always feel like, yeah, maybe there's a bit too much give, just a bit, just a tad. Like I'm nitpicking here. Basketball technology has come a very, very long way. So I've always preferred like a more traditional midsole setup instead of a drop-in. Now, one thing that is pretty good about these types of drop-ins is, number one, unlike the Kobe 8 where you get those scales on the drop-in itself where you put your feet in, your socks get stuck on the scales, and then you have to like really hold your socks to like slide your feet, otherwise your socks kind of just get pulled down with the scales. So there's not as much friction there, but there is more than like a traditional insole. Now, one good thing is that kind of keeps your feet a little bit more in place. Also, the sidewalls here of the drop-in helps with that. Overall cushioning wise, I think it is still pretty balanced. It is still pretty decent. Definitely an upgrade over the old Lunarlon. The Zoomer here is nice, but I really would have preferred if they came with one on the forefoot as well. And on the right shoe on that insole, that is the date of the final NBA game. On the left, it is his first NBA game ever. And then moving on to the outsole of the shoe, you will see this translucent outsole. This traction pattern, it's not like herringbone or anything. It's just like these nubs with this center midfoot kind of carve out going right down. Now, one thing that a lot of people complained about for the Kobe 11s when it first dropped, especially with ones with the translucent outsole, is the lack of great traction. So it's the most often complained about thing. They did change it on this shoe. So the first thing you'll notice is on the outer border of the outsole, there's more nubs. So before it was kind of flat, and I don't know why they think that would have been a good idea. So if they've corrected that, and I don't have an original Kobe 11 in hand, but from images, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, it does look like maybe the midfoot kind of carve out pattern in the middle, that traction there has been improved just slightly. Now, on court, in person, when I played with these, the gym that I shoot the B-roll in is quite dusty. So it really tests if a shoe has great or elite traction. And honestly, for these, it actually did pretty well. With a lot of other kind of translucent rubber outsoles, does collect dust quite quickly, so you might have to wipe your shoes here and there. Is it the best? I don't think so, but from my experience playing in two different gyms, one where I shot the B-roll, pretty dusty, it did decent. And another one where I played pickup, I don't shoot B-roll there, but that is a pretty well-maintained gym, and that definitely did a good job there. So I think the traction definitely has been improved, even though it is still not elite. That's one bonus. And one thing that is kind of special about the Kobe 11s, especially the ones with the translucent outsoles, when you take out the drop-ins, it's actually like see-through. So you can see my hand there. The only thing separating your foot is this rubber outsole and then the drop-in midsole. Now, one thing to note though, with this type of setup, does not have like a carbon fiber midfoot shank or anything. So the rigidity and the stability and the support basically is relying on the materials itself, like the engineered mesh. And I will say, for my playing style, for me as a lightweight player, it does a good job holding my foot in place. I don't feel like this was too flimsy where my foot was just gonna roll over. It's relying also on the outsole that kind of comes up a bit on the sides there, as well as the heel counter, that is decent. And it's just relying on that drop-in. If you look at how much this flexes pretty easily, like this is probably in my kind of memory doing this, one of the easiest ones to make the shoe look like this. So I will say, if that scares you, maybe stay away from this shoe. Generally, you don't want your basketball sneakers to like bend and twist too easily. You want some torsional rigidity. Now, personally for me, when I was playing, the advantage was that there's a lot of kind of flex motion, so it felt quite flexible in your movement. So some shoes where it comes with like a full length or nearly full length carbon fiber plate can feel kind of stiff when you're playing. But I do also know a lot of people prefer a lot more stability and just stiffness overall in their shoe. So I can't tell you what you would prefer. Generally, I do prefer if shoes had a midfoot shank at least, but I have, in my experience, because a lot of Jordan brand shoes lately have done away with any shank plates, I have, for my style, found that I haven't lost too much because of that. Now, in terms of sizing and comfort, I am a wide and flat footer. For Kobe shoes, generally no good solution for me. His shoes are just so slender, so narrow. Most of them anyway. I'm glad to say for the Kobe 11s, I went true to size. It actually fit me pretty well. So no pain in the toe box area. Usually for like Kobe 6s and like Kobe 8s, this toe box would just hurt. As soon as I put my foot in, I'd have to really break it in, and even after that, it would still be pretty painful. For these, some of it owing to the kind of softer engineered mesh material, I did not feel that at all. So as soon as I put my foot in, it actually fit kind of like a glove. One of the more and better fitting Kobe shoes that I've ever felt on feet. If you don't have wide and fat feet, I don't have any recommendations. Definitely get a second opinion. It is a very lightweight shoe as well. That is something Kobe Bryant has always been obsessed with. So if this is too heavy for you, I don't know. There's definitely lighter shoes that you can get. Like some shoes are kind of marketing their lightweightness, but anything at this weight or lighter, or maybe a tiny bit heavier, is more than acceptable for me. And again, like most Kobe Bryant shoes, it has very good court feel. You're sitting pretty low. Again, like I said, the only thing separating your foot from the court is this rubber outsole and that drop-in. And that's it. And today's throwback of the day, on theme, it is the Kobe 11 Sunset that dropped in 2016. This was meant to represent the end of his career. So the sun is setting on his very illustrious career. You can see these very vibrant colors. This is very obvious what they're going for. Beautiful shoe in my opinion, and I would not be surprised if Nike was bringing back more Kobe 11s this year. It is the 10-year anniversary of the shoe after all. Generally for basketball sneakers, I don't give it a soul score. The metrics don't really make sense, but final verdict of the Kobe 11 Pro Mamba out. Love the look of the shoe. Really like Kobe 11s, just how aesthetically pleasing it is. Performance-wise though, I don't think I would choose this over some more modern day shoes. Sabrina 3s I still would put over these. I just love the recent Kushlon 3.0, and generally I just don't love drop-ins. I still prefer a more traditional setup over a drop-in, so that is my personal taste. And the traction, even though it is improved, I don't think it's elite. I still think there are shoes that offer better grip than these. I'm someone that really prioritizes traction, so unless it's really good, I will find myself just shelving a shoe. And support-wise, for me, it might work, but I can definitely see some people having some problems with just relying on the materials as well as that drop-in for the majority of the support. As someone that was too broke, too poor, to buy Kobe 11s back in 2016 though, glad to have these in hand 10 years after he graced us with an insane final game performance. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Soul Inclined. Let me know what you think of the Kobe 11 Pro Mamba out. Like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And remember, tomorrow may never come, so wear your shoes.